y'all. Welcome back to Knitting in Our Jeans. I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
And you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Tooliz for you, TOOLIZZFORYOU.
And I'm CPREDMOR on Ravelry and Knitting in Our Jeans on Instagram. I think I posted something on Instagram this week.
I think you did.
I'm fairly certain I did. Don't remember what it was.
Don't either.
You know, that's the way it goes.
It happens.
It happens.
So we are recording midweek because we missed last weekend, and this weekend we will also miss. So I figured, why don't I come out and do dinner with my parents, and then we'll record a little situation.
Had company.
We did. We had company this weekend, which was wonderful. It's friends who I haven't seen since February of 2020. I hadn't seen her in 5 years.
That's a long time.
It is. But it was a good time. I have since found out that, my friend's partner, said today, apparently, I really liked meeting your friends and hanging out with your friends. They liked playing, board games. I like them. Can we hang out with them more? To which I'm like, sure. But
are they from New York?
No. He's from New York, but they're in Boston, so
makes it a little more difficult.
Makes it a little bit more difficult, but yeah, so that was fun. It was good to see them. But other than that, you've been traveling, right?
Yes, we're back from St. Thomas, which is great.
Yeah, so
we haven't been doing any other traveling though.
No, you posted about becoming mall walkers. That's what you posted.
Yes, that's what it is. Yes, we've been walking every day except yesterday and today, which sounds like we've fallen off the wagon. Yesterday I had an endoscopy and and today I picked up a new car as well as the computer that they gave me. I had a day of picking up all kinds of exciting things. Today was quite a day, and if I'd made it out to Wegmans, it would have been a trifecta. But I paid attention to the news, and they said that Wegmans was actually putting on a lot of extra people because it was their first day and they expected to be overrun. And I went, I don't need to be overrun. So hopefully Wegmans next week. But we've become mall walkers because at St. Thomas, we not only were walking like crazy, but we were doing stairs. And so at the mall,
you can do stairs.
So we park on the lower level, take the stairs up, and when it gets warmer, we can take the stairs all the way up to the second floor. That would be really cool. And they're not see-through steps, so that's a big plus. Yeah. The ones in the mall are see-through steps. Makes it more difficult for me. So anyway, we've been doing a little less than 2 miles.
I had found an Airbnb option for us, and then I sent it to one of our other fellow Airbnbers, and I was like, something feels off about this. And she goes, oh, you mean the banisterless floating stairs? And I was like, oh, yeah, no, never mind.
Yeah.
Yes, that is what that obviously is what my brain decided that it's a no-go.
That's right. Like I would be hugging the floor. So yes, we've already started making plans for Rhinebeck, so that's good. So anyway, Richard and I are doing walks, and today he offered to help a friend of his with a boat while I ran around doing errands, getting the certified check. Picking up my Christmas present. What else did I? Oh,
and that went smoothly.
Went very smoothly,
Good.
And incredibly smoothly. So that went very, very well. A lot of phone calls in the car. Now my car, the car that I just sold, did not take phone calls through the car. So every time the phone rang today, which was 4 times, I had to find a parking space, pull over and talk to these people because they did have important things to tell me, like the car insurance. And first it was the car people, and I said, well, whatever you're saying, fine, I'll discuss it with my husband. And then they said, and what about your car insurance? I said, I've already been talking to our State Farm people. They have the VIN number, and all they're waiting is for me to call them and say when we're picking them up, but I need to get home. He says, no, I'll call them. I said, all right, I've been talking with Allison. Okay, so I go finally from parked in Roosevelt Field, not where I was parked to pick up my present, but like where Akbar used to be. I got as far as Eisenhower Park, when I got another phone call. And I said, sorry, I got to pull over. Hold on. So I pulled into the parking lot. The phone went flying to the floor and hung up. So anyway, I called. This was Allison. So Allison was getting quite the kick out of this. And she said, so when are you picking up the car? I said, well, let me tell you. My husband has decided to pick today to go play on a boat with a friend. So instead of being around here to be able to take me to where another friend of ours is going to buy the car and get the plates off so that then I can turn them in and send you the receipt. He's off playing on a boat. She goes, oh man, they're all like this. I went, well, they're certainly like this today. Because you can't do this. Could I do it by myself? Yes. If I were single, and I would call an Uber to pick me up from our friend's place of business, to take me over to the DMV, to turn in the plates, or to take me home, because there was a spare car at home.
Yeah.
To take me home. Then I could then go to the DMV, turn in the plates, come back home, da-da-da-da. But Richard would have had a cow.
Yes.
Yes, because he wants to be involved in all of this. Bless his little heart. Bless his little heart.
You never sound overly Southern until you are very annoyed at someone.
Bless his little heart.
Or you've seen The Family.
Yeah. So I kept giving him updates of all the different things that I managed to accomplish. So first it was all the phone calls. Then I went to the bank, and we had so much fun at the bank.
I know you did.
Because we could see my old car through the window.
Oh, God.
And they obviously were making the check out to the car dealer, and they were guessing what kind of car I was buying. And I said, no, I'm buying a red one. They go, a red one? I said, yes, I've had a red car for like 30 years. Different red ones. But this way, instead of having a black car or a white car, I have a red one. You can find it in the parking lot. And I love it. And so anyway, they decided. And then I told them about the phone calls, and I said, see that car out there? That car is a stupid car because it's not a smart car. It doesn't handle phone calls through the car.
Yeah.
It doesn't know who I am. It doesn't say, hi, how are you? Welcome, good morning, any of that stuff. It just goes, huh, shit's her again. And you have to use the key and you crank the thing. So I said, starting tomorrow, I'll be able to answer phone calls in the car, and it won't be a problem with my driving. But right now, I'm juggling a phone, which is ridiculous. So then I updated Richard that I'd gotten a certified check. Then I updated that I've gotten groceries. And then I got a call back, and the insurance was all set up. I said, I'm all set now. And then I got home, and I realized I'd forgotten the tomato sauce. the spaghetti sauce was on my list. I went over there to get it, and somehow got snookered into getting to the cashier line. I have no idea what happened. And
it happens.
Then I didn't get cheese.
You didn't get Baby Bells?
I did not. I didn't get your father's cheese. I didn't get Baby Bells. I have to go back out tomorrow.
How did you go to the grocery store and not get Baby Bells?
I was getting a car today.
I understand that, but Baby Bells are like my first thing.
I was getting a car today. A new red car today.
Yes.
So, obviously, my brain was on tilt. And I was really concerned about my old car.
Yes.
Now, would it make it back home without dropping another piece off? We did, by the way.
Good.
Yeah. So, it was so we didn't go walking today because once Richard got home, he went through the car again and found those earplugs. I did not order those earplugs. You sure they're not yours?
I'm pretty sure. I can ask, because Ben did borrow the car. I can ask if they're maybe one
I'm
of
thinking
theirs.
you took them out to show me.
No, mine are a black case.
Oh, okay. So
I think. I mean, I can check when I go home. Mine should be in the key bowl at home.
I never ordered these things.
Well, then I will look, and then give me a second. I'll
Anyway,
text some people.
Somehow I made out like a bandit going through my car, and we found a pair of earplugs. Loop earplugs that I have no idea whose they are, but they're mine now.
Let me see if
unless we can lay claim to them. So the car got cleared out. We took the car over to our friends. He bought the car. It was so funny because Richard came out with, he said, well, what are you kind of looking for in the car? And Richard gave him a price, and he went, I wasn't looking to spend that much. And Richard finally had done some homework in terms of what this car can be, is being offered for sale in different states here in the United States. Within this range of mileage, single owner, I've had it from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And the person we sold the car to is the person who does all the upkeep and service on the car. I said, you have the service record. You know how I treat the car. You know I'm in here every time I'm supposed to be in here, changing whatever fluids need to be changed. He goes, yes, I do know that. He was laughing at that. He goes, yeah, I know that. So anyway, we managed to compromise. So we sold him the car, and then we took off to the car dealership, and we were there, for an hour and a half. They were telling me all kinds of things this new car does. I don't remember much of it. So I brought my owner's manual inside, and I will try to get through 5 or 10 pages a night until I understand this car. Meanwhile, I've proposed to Elizabeth a road trip this spring.
So, which we will
discuss
with our respective partners,
significant others.
We will discuss with the significant others, and then
the other people involved
determine if we.
We're looking favorably on this.
Yeah,
because we love to drive together.
Yeah,
we really do. Meanwhile, put on your calendars, Rhinebeck, because it is coming up, and
I mean it's 8 months away.
Airbnbs are starting to be snapped up. Yep. I think we've got a really good one.
We've got a good one. Yep. And the one we really wanted doubled plus in price.
Yeah.
For that weekend. If we wanted to go up there the weekend after, it would be less than what we're paying for the one we found.
Yeah, well.
Only barely, but but it's half of what it is for Rhinebeck weekend.
It has a dangerous stairway to the upper floor.
But the Airbnb host has figured out that Rhinebeck weekend is a popular weekend, and his house is in a prime location. So good on him.
It is, and the first floor is lovely. It really is. The second floor is a little strange, right?
So, yeah,
right.
So,
the bathroom's more than strange.
So maybe we found another good spot.
There's no door on the bathroom.
It is a little strange.
Yes.
Yes.
So we found another house, and we have put a hold on it. We have a reservation.
Yes.
So we have started that. Anyway, let me bring you up to date on my Forcera. This is my prototype, which cotton stretches. And obviously this needs to be rewashed. But it's a pretty good prototype. I'm pretty happy with it. I will wear it. I've now used all my yarn. I took apart my
swatch,
thank you, and added to the depth of the rib cage on this. Now, one thing I haven't done yet
is taken out the provisional.
No, I do have yarn downstairs of this that I can do an inner cover. So I'm going to work on that.
Okay.
But meanwhile, I have this Who Made cotton, and I don't usually do a swatch in ribbing. So today, when I counted up how many stitches make 4 inches, I only counted the knit stitches. And I wondered why my math was so off.
The math was not mathing, as they say.
It was not mathing at all. So, with help from my cohort in crime here, we figured out you have to count every stitch.
Yes.
And it's coming out to 5.5 stitches per inch.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my high bust.
Yes.
So at Vogue, I had a couple classes where measurements needed to be taken. So I have my high bust, and I have right across the apex of the girls. And what I'm going to do, because I think we've decided that you want a little stretch.
Yeah.
A little hug in one of these things.
You want a decent you want at least a bit of negative ease.
That's right.
I'm thinking that it's probably not. We'll have to see. But I know when I've made things, the different bralettes by Jessie Made, those have a lot of negative ease. So I think it's kind of in that vein.
I'm kind of concerned about getting this over either my shoulders or my butt.
Right. So
to be able to wear it. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking my high bust, I'm subtracting 1.5 inches because it's it's 39.5 and I don't want to deal with a half. So if you were an integer number for your high bust, I would just take 1 inch off. If you're a half or some fraction thereof, I would take 1 inch plus that fraction off. And I'm going to cast on 5.5 stitches for that 38 inches. And I will keep you posted. If I am able to, by next time that we speak, we discuss these things, that I like the kind of bralette that it's coming out to be, then we will get started on the next part of this. So you all work on your swatches. What I was reading about cotton is you dunk this until it screams. Actually, you make sure it's really wet. You squeeze it out, and then you hang it. You dry it as it's hanging. So I have a little contraption downstairs that we used to dry yarn skeins on, and it has pins, clothespins on it. So I hung it up like this so that it dried hanging. So I'm so glad that you helped me figure out my math, because I said there's something wrong here. There's something very wrong, and I don't know what it is, and I didn't want to get started on anything further without figuring out why the math wasn't right. I am excited about this trip. Oh, the reason the car trip is because after we visit friends of ours down in South Carolina, I would like to take Richard down to Asheville, or up to Asheville, North Carolina, where the Biltmore is, and because I've never seen that. There's places that I haven't seen. And
they're Yair's.
They're what?
They're Yair's.
How'd they end up in my car?
From when they went apple picking.
Ah! Okay. All right, we now found the owner.
When you said, you're like, I don't know. And I was like, wait, who else has been in that car besides our family? And it's just been them. So.
Well, I'm glad we found
them. And I'm
them.
seeing them tomorrow. So I'll put it in. So just make sure I put them in my purse before I leave.
I think they're in my purse now. Anyway, so I had worked on my Forcera, but the math wasn't working out. Would you like to talk about something before I talk about the shawl?
Yes. So what you see me working on studiously over here is my
a wedding present.
Well, yes, it's a much belated wedding present. But that I've been trying to get done for a few years. So there is a project called the 100 Days Project, which I've done before. And I've actually proposed this project before too. So we're going to see how far we get on this this year. But it is to do something creative for 100 days. So I am cross-stitching for a half hour every day.
Okay.
And we're going to see how far that gets me. It's not, I decided not to do it on number of stitches or number of get a project done. I figured give it, all right, 30 minutes. I can do 30 minutes a day. Let's just put some time on the docket and let's do it. So I am.
These are nice people.
Yes, I adore them. I actually had a phone call with them a few weeks ago.
Did you?
Yes, they send their love.
Good.
They're now in California.
Really?
Yeah, they moved to California.
Still with the company?
Yes, still with the company, but a better deal. So yeah. But yeah, so I owe this, and I would like to gift it, and I also have something planned for their California home. But I figured it would be probably more likely to make me want to work on things if it wasn't, because if I have to count stitches, then I'm going to be focused on counting stitches.
Right.
If I have, so I was like, all right, what can I just do? And I'm also not stopping after a half hour. I have to do at least a half hour. So,
Okay.
the first day, I also ended up starting a day late, I realized, but that's okay. I'll just go one day further. That's
Works.
fine. But so the first day I did 50 minutes, and like last night I stitched for like an hour and a half. So, it is kind of funny though, because sometimes you can stitch for, 20 minutes but it's all a whole bunch of like little things. So then all of a sudden it looks like you've done a whole lot. And then you can stitch for 50 minutes on one little section of one color. And it doesn't feel like you've done anything, but all of a sudden you have a little whale.
Oh, how cute.
You have a little whale. So I'm very excited about this. I'm glad to be finally getting it done. Sometimes having an external motivator helps.
Yes.
But yeah, so I'm working on that. Also because the 1 year, or in 2020, I did this project, and my goal that year was a certain number of stitches knit a day.
Oh, really?
And it ended up being, it converted to, I think, 2 pattern rows of my Velocore top. Because I wanted to get that done. And then I finished that, and I figured out how many stitches that was, and I did that many stitches on the next thing that I wanted to get done. And I ended up finishing like 3 or 4 things.
Admirable.
So I thought that this would be really good. So I'm trying to take a picture every day, and I caption the picture with, day, number, and then the amount of time that I stitched, so that I can keep track. Because I'm not posting it to Instagram, because this is going to be a gift, and I still kind of want it to be a secret, even though they know about it, but I think they may have forgotten. Because it was owed to them for a while.
A while.
It's okay.
Handmade gifts can take a while.
Handmade gifts can take a while. So I've been working on that. It also doesn't help that I've had a snag with my Fittonia sweater.
No.
Yes. I realized, as I lean off screen, that I have only 4 skeins of the DK weight yarn, not 5.
Oh, that's right. I got this.
Yeah, you got this text message. So I'm pretty much done with the sleeves, but I don't know that I'll have enough yarn for the body. I have just under a skein left of the DK weight yarn, and I have this, which is the same colorway, but in fingering weight. So my thoughts, my options are to frog and make a different sweater, to frog the sleeves back and make them short sleeves, or to color block, which I do have some good options. I brought the options so that you could see that I did go and look in my stash for options as per your recommendation. So we have this red that could work.
Yeah, that's nice.
So we have that red.
I mean, we're talking about cuffs and hems.
But but we were talking a very big hem, and I don't know if I want to do a very big hem.
All right.
So this yarn is all up in this bag.
All up in your face.
And then I also have this skein of navy blue, which also works really well.
Really well, yes.
So I could do that, but I'm feeling quite disillusioned with it, and I'm very upset with it, so it's going back in timeout. So instead, so I really still want the sweater. I really want a Fittonia. I've enjoyed knitting it. I enjoy the idea of it. The thing is I really enjoyed the idea of having a long sleeve one. So I have 5 skeins of this, and it's sport weight, so it is slightly lighter. But the pattern is technically written for sport weight, I do believe. Okay. Maybe not. But I have 5 skeins. I have 1,500 yards of this. Definitely enough to make a long sleeve sweater. And it's a beautiful variegated. Like, I wound it up, and I was like, this is beautiful. So this could work for that. Could work, yes. When I'm no longer as angry with it, I did wind it up so that I could swatch on it if I feel so moved. Have not felt so moved yet. But I think that's an option. But so yeah, that's a thing. And then, no, it's in my work. Okay.
I can see it. And I didn't even have my glasses on.
Well, you know. Making notes here so that we have notes for our stuff. So that's one option. And you may be saying, well, Elizabeth, why don't you order more yarn? The dyer doesn't dye that colorway anymore.
It's a gorgeous colorway.
It is. So
you did your Ravelry and no one
else has it posted.
Okay. I'd be happy to talk about my shawl.
Yeah, so why don't you talk about your shawl and then I'll talk about the thing that I have been knitting on.
Okay, so this is my half pie shawl. And I started with the gray. This is A.T. Haynes.
At Haynes House.
At Haynes House. I will be able to tell you after I'm done what the colors are. But anyway, I have a gray, a red, a gray, and I was going to do the multicolor either here where this gray is, and here's the multicolor. So it has the gray and the red, and I love it. Only when I made it, I had gone about halfway through this one level with the multicolor. And I didn't like it. It was too busy because I wanted my lace panels to be in the red. The lace panel is a takeoff on my Nevertheless She Persisted lace. I have gotten rid of some of the double yarn overs so that it's a little less confusing. But I think it's going to make a really nice half pie. So you can see I've started my second red lace panel. What'll come after that is another one of the light gray panels. And then I'm going to do the hem or the border. The final panel in the multicolor. And it will hopefully either have a picot edge or I'm thinking maybe a fan pattern. I think a fan pattern of this would be nice.
Okay.
So that's so I've been working up a storm with this. I've been really quite pleased. The lace went so fast. So incredibly fast. So anyway, maybe now that it's grown, I don't think I'll finish it by the next time we speak, but it's a possibility because I'm on a lace pattern now, and the lace patterns seem to go pretty fast. I'm really quite pleased. And that's as much as I have worked on between having the endoscopy and doing car shopping and all this other stuff and walking every day. We have been so either mall walking or walking down at Jones Beach. So not yesterday, but the day before we walked twice down at Jones Beach. The first day was lovely. The second day was actually supposed to be a little warmer, but the wind was up. It was a lesson in fortitude to walk Jones Beach. I mean, there was a very brisk wind off the ocean at 42 degrees. So first we froze this side of our faces, and then we turned around and froze this side of our faces. By the time we got back to the car, my right side of my nose wasn't breathing until it defrosted. Anyway, for any of you who are from Long Island, they are working on the East Bathhouse at Jones Beach. They are putting in a pool. Yes, kind of a fun park pool. I mean, there'll be a swimming pool, but there's also going to be fun park,
fun.
kids parts of the pool. So it's not going to be done for this summer. It's supposed to be done for next summer, summer of 26. But they are working away, and so that we get to look at their progress. Well, we get to listen to them because they really are banging and digging up. They're at the destruction part now.
They're in demo?
Yes. Of destruction.
Yeah.
They're beating up the concrete that was laid 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. 30s, almost 90 years ago. Maybe. I know they have 1925. 100 years ago. They're banging up that concrete. But it should be lovely when they're done. And meanwhile, it's been a lot of fun getting back out to Jones Beach. So tomorrow, Richard's got a doctor's appointment in the city, so we'll be doing some walking there. And then I have to take my license plates into the DMV, and then get that information over to the car insurance company so they can take my previous car off the car insurance.
Yeah.
But everybody made it really easy.
Good.
Which is really delightful. And then Friday, he's got his eye exam, which means his eyes are going to be dilated, and I shouldn't take him to Jones Beach to go walking. So that would be
Jones Beach.
That would be bad. So maybe we'll go mall walking that day. He'd be better inside than outside.
Yes.
Let's see what else has happened. I meant to break my wallet.
Yes.
So I've now ordered a new wallet.
Okay.
And my car is supposed to have MagSafe charging for the phone. And of course, my case for my phone, although it's magnetic, it's only magnetic to stay in a place. It's not magnetic to charge. So I've ordered a new case for it. I've also ordered the WeatherTech floor liners.
No.
Yes. They were less expensive than the dealer's floor liners.
Okay.
And I found that WeatherTech actually had the car model in its specifications. So I pretty much can count on these floor liners being cut to the right size.
Okay.
And I think that I'll be much happier not having worn a hole in the carpet at the gas pedal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had a ride in the car. How was it?
I love it. It's great. I'm excited to at some point drive it. This is gonna be.
I didn't get you a key.
That's okay.
We talked about a key. The key is 5 times the cost of your key.
That is fine then.
Yeah.
Considering my key was pretty expensive.
No kidding. This is 5 times that key. I'll tell you off camera.
That's like.
Yes. So we decided. I went in today, and your father was very much for it until we heard the price of it.
Yeah. No, and I understand that. But
okay. So yeah. Driving it is interesting because it's a push button,
which I have. I have a push button.
No,
I mean the gear shift. Oh,
the gear you push the gear shift down, just lightly touch it, go down to drive, up to reverse, push it into park. And I thought about this, and I've been driving so long that I can remember. Well, first of all, I learned to drive a stick shift, so that was on the floor. And then my father had a stick shift that was on the column, the steering column.
Right. The Lincoln had it on the steering column.
No, he had a Zephyr.
Ah.
That was a clutch car.
Oh, God.
That had the
steering wheel. Oh.
The gear shift on the steering wheel. Yes. So I've had that. I've had my automatic transmission cars where the shifter is, the gear shift is down here. And now it's back on the steering column.
Yeah.
Although, and it's telling me, again, you can look at the dashboard and it tells you you're in park, you're in reverse, you're in. So park, you push it in. It's very quiet.
It is. It's extremely quiet. But as my partner said when I texted that to him, well, you all do own very loud cars in your family. I was like, hey!
When they're 18 years old,
Or 10.
Or 10, or your father's is 15.
Yeah.
Yes, it happens that way. But even the blinker is
silent.
Silent. So it's been quite the day. All positives, I think.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything really negative that happened today. And even with all the phone calls, I managed to pull off into parking spaces each time. So that was quite good. It will probably be somewhat shocking. Oh, luckily I had my watch, because the third phone call I decided to answer on my watch.
That's good.
Rather than, because I can actually talk on my watch, because that connected to the phone.
Right.
Anyway, we will persevere. I'm going to learn this car. I intend to have it for many years, so that I will learn all its ins and outs. What was really spectacular today was I turned on the navigation system to get me home. Not that I didn't know how to get home, but I was interested to see
how it was going to
take me. Well, it took me a very interesting way.
Okay.
And down by Post Road, but a different way to get to Post Road.
Oh, okay.
Via the access road of the LIE.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Well, normally I go down to Jericho Turnpike.
Okay.
Which has a lot of stoplights.
Right.
And is more heavily trafficked. So apparently this cute little machine took all of that into consideration, took me down the access road, down to Post Road down to just a spit on Northern State, then down to the Wanta, and I beat Richard home. And he was quite impressed that I beat him home by like 5 minutes. I would have been in the house except I lost my keys. Not the key to the car, and I didn't lose them for long. They had slipped into a kind of a hole in my coat. Underneath all the gloves and everything else. I need to take out at least 1 or 2 pairs of gloves from my coat. So it ended up, it wasn't a crisis. I had my keys. I had all the keys.
Good.
But he was very impressed that it beat him home.
Yeah.
Yes. Because normally he speeds up and beats me home.
Well, yeah. Mr. Ma, I think that's Dad who's been pulled over there. Yeah. No, it's not your father.
No, your father wouldn't be pulled over by the police. Yes, he was. Anything else, darling?
So what I've been doing instead of my Fittonia is I started my Mondrian pullover, which is out of the Fluff by Wandering Flock and the Psalm Aaron by Camellia. So this is the back. So the green is the Psalm, and the tan and I think it's called Wisteria is the colorway, is Fluff, and then my fourth color is this sky blue.
Wow.
Also by Wandering Flock. So I've got this, and what was funny is this is not how long this sweater is supposed to be. This sweater is supposed to be 3 inches longer.
What's wrong?
I went and I was knitting on it, and I was like, this feels long. So I go, hey, babe, come over here. He goes, what? I go, I'm going to stand up. He goes, okay. And I hand him a tape measure. He goes, okay. And I go, I need you to measure, because I was wearing a t-shirt. I was like, you know what? Measure from my neck, like from the collar of my t-shirt to where I'm pointing on my back. And he was like, oh, okay. And he was like, it's like 17 and a half, 18 inches, something like that. And I was like, okay. That's how long my sweater should be. Not the 21 inches it says it should be. So,
short-waisted.
I had a moment where I was like, hey, Mom, just confirming that I should, make my sweater to me instead of to the pattern in this case. And you were like, yeah, no, dum-dum, you make it for yourself.
You knit for your body.
Yeah. So I did. So I'm going to also then make the front 3 inches shorter. But I figured I did measure it out on here, and I counted how many rows from the from the ribbing it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I know how many rows to make the front, because I wanted the rows to match.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to seam them, then it should match whether or not they actually match in size, in like measuring, it's not that big of a deal because it'll all block out.
Right.
That kind of thing will all block out. But if I don't have the right number of rows, that's going to be a mess and a half. So,
I mean, you can stretch it to fit, but it's more of a problem.
Yeah, so I figured let's at least make sure we have the same amount of rows there. So that's that, and I cast on the ribbing. Actually, I didn't have any knitting to take with me to, or had any knitting for, because I finished this on Saturday, I think, maybe Sunday morning, and I didn't have anything else to work on, so I was like, you know what, or I hadn't yet finished this, and I was like, well, I can't bring that, it's a whole bunch to bring when we're out and about, and I was like, oh, okay, so I actually cast on the ribbing, and just decided to knit on that, and then I could keep going. So I had that ready once I had finished the back. So that actually was quite fun. Yeah. And it's just a simple intarsia, so it's just making sure that they're caught, and twirled around each other in the back.
So what, did you go to the Lowry?
Yeah, we went to the Lowry. But yeah, so that was really nice. And then, as we all know, or probably know, unfortunately, Joann Fabrics is going out of business.
Yeah.
So, I'm
buying a lot more things online.
Yeah, and I'm very sad about it, because I do still go to Joann's for, like, if I'm gonna make quiltings, like, if I'm gonna do something. Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of my zippers from Waywack, but I'm just sad about it. So I had seen on Instagram, someone I follow, posted something about using a shirred fabric. And it's a shirt. It's a boat neck, kind of off the shoulder, like summer kind of like tank shirt. And I was like, that's brilliant. And the pattern comes out this week, on Friday. So I was like, that's a minimum, that's like 4 seams. I can knock one of the, give me the pattern and I can knock that out. Like, that's not going to be a problem at all.
No.
And I was like, all right, where can I get shirred fabric? Joann's. I was like, all right. Hey, Joann's.com. Does the shop out by my parents have the fabric I want? It was like, no, it doesn't. I was like, just gonna be a problem. But I went out there. Anyways, to just see, because who knows. So I picked up 2 yards, which by the way, I don't need 2 yards. I panicked and pulled a Carolyn Predmore, which is, if you kind of know at least something you can make from it, you buy at least enough to make one of those.
Yeah.
So I knew that with a yard, you could make something out of this, and so I figured 2 yards is safe, because also Joann's cutting is never great.
It's true.
So I was like, if I mess up 1 yard of this, we can at least do something with the other yard, It's not that difficult. So I got this rayon, which is really lovely. So this is a rayon blend. And then I got a black cotton one. It
feels lovely.
It also has a shirring. It's a lovely kind of light cotton, so that'll be nice. I was very proud of myself for not going and seeking out all of the black options. because we all know that I might. And then I got this beautiful, like,
velvet,
but it's like a
maroon.
It's a maroon. Yeah.
I think it's really pretty.
I think it is too.
It's going to be lovely at Christmas.
Yeah, so I think this will be fun as that top, and then, who knows? I don't know. And there's a lot of fabric that you get, because the way they were cutting it was a yard of shirring. So
yes.
Do you know how much fabric you have? So much fabric once it's out of the shirring.
Yeah.
So even if I don't use all of the shirred part of it, I have a good amount of yardage of just velvet. So that'll be nice. Who knows? We may make a pants and top set. And you know what? Just have it and be glorious for the fall and for...
It'll be comfortable.
It will be. For the fall and for the winter. I do think... Well, I mean, yeah, that'll be fun. There weren't super deep discounts. There was a discount on all of this, but it wasn't anything truly to write home about just yet. But at the same time, I'm glad I did, because I could see getting more of the rayon.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the velvet, but I don't need more velvet. Also, because I'm back working on site full-time, essentially, so I'm not... what are you looking at? Oh, okay. So, again, to finish my statement, I am working on site again, so I'm not wearing, like, dress pants to the office. I'm wearing jeans and boots, and then changing immediately into my work boots. So I do wear a sweater every day, but I'm not... in my more formal office wear. And I don't know that I'll be in main office. So, it's also, so I definitely don't need velvet. But the rayon was nice, and the cotton,
Yes.
I'm very excited. I'm so happy I found the black. Like, I went in there looking for it, and then I didn't see it anywhere, and then I saw it, and I was like, so I'm very excited about this. And just, heads up, Joann's closing. Keep an eye out for super sales. But also, just go on in and just get some stuff. I do have to say there is a printed shirred fabric with moths on it, like butterflies and moths, online. That maybe has to come home.
That sounds really pretty.
Yeah. I'll let you know. I'm gonna wait until the pattern comes out for the top, and then we'll maybe we'll place an order for that, because it wasn't available that I saw anywhere, but it's available to ship.
All right.
But yeah.
So I got a spring fashion trend from Neiman Marcus.
Oh.
When I was working, I actually used to buy parts of my wardrobe from Neiman Marcus, because they really worked well in the classroom. But anyway, in case you all are interested, it's a lot of crochet. That's a crochet beige top. This dress down here looks like one of those flower afghans. This is a knitted cotton striped top over here. And talking about bralettes, they've got a fairly minimal bralette over there.
I mean, that's that's what they're now. That's a bralette, Mom.
It's not what I'm comfortable with.
I know that's not
so.
what you're
Anyway,
comfortable
so those of us who do handwork and are working on these tops for the summer, we're in fashion.
Oh, look at that!
Look at that! I almost fell off the sofa when I saw that this week. So that is a new email that I had gotten. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
No, this was all I really had. I'm working away on my cross stitch,
I'll be taking my pie shawl into the city tomorrow to work on, as I'm waiting for your father to get done with his medical appointments. And I will also work on my Forsera, since now I know
Now you
What
figured
about
out
the
the
math?
math.
Not you. You figured out the math. I didn't figure out the math.
I know.
But, and that's because I normally do a stockinette
Yep.
gauge swatch.
Mm-hmm.
And you count all the knit stitches.
Yep.
Oh, goodness. I knew there was something wrong. I just couldn't figure out what it was. Anyway, so weave in your ends. We won't be speaking to you this weekend. We'll have to see what's coming up.
Yeah, we will figure it out.
And if it's too long, you know that I'll fly solo and keep you up to date.
I kept on thinking about flying solo, but then things happened, and I was like, oh, whoop. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, I'm glad you came out, because you got to see the car.
Yeah, got to see the car, got to record. We got to hang out with you all.
Have shrimp.
Have some shrimps.
Have some ice cream.
Have some ice creams.
We had a great time.
We did have a good time. So yes, weave in those ends, and we will talk to you again soon. Bye, y'all.